Mr. Sammy still says those budget tables are rate-related and they are the key. That's why they've been hiding them. Frank, we know it's been hidden. We now understand and know where it is hidden in the budget. The coordination framework confirms its respect for the federal court's decision, no room for appeal. To mitigate the impact of sudden changes in the currency rates, it will be necessary to have a trend towards strengthening the Iraq dinar and diversifying income away from the heavy dependence on the dollar. Their goal is to strengthen the Iraq dinar. This is a very big deal. You know, they stopped flowing the dollar into Iraq, so they will use the dinar. Buy dollar. Here we go, dinar. Iraq is going to have to use their own currency. Iraq's revenues exceed 135 trillion dinars in 11 months, quote, from January to November 2024 for the past fiscal year, which showed that revenues from oil stabilized at about 88%, but it still constitutes the main resource for the general budget, indicating that the rentier economy is the basis of the country's general budget, while non-oil revenues constitutes 12% of Iraq's general budget. As of February 2025, Vietnam's economy exhibits robust growth driven by increased business activity and sustained foreign investment. This outlook is underpinned by the government's focus on bolstering economic growth through low interest rates in the near term. However, rate normalization is anticipated in the second quarter, with the State Bank of Vietnam expected to implement a 50 basis point hike. The Vietnamese government has set an ambitious GDP growth target of at least 8% for 2025, up from the previous project of 6.5% to 7%. Inflation rose to 3.6% year-on-year in January 2025, marking the sixth consecutive month below 4%. It appears to me that there is an awful lot of hand-wringing going on here recently. I read one article and a couple of hours another article comes out contradicting it. If it isn't from Sadani, Barzani, or Salah, I don't really pay attention to it. An economist close to Sadani doesn't cut it. There are still a lot of politicians who have Iranian loyalties, and remember, Maliki owns almost all the newspapers in Iraq except the paper of record. Pay no attention to that reporter behind the curtain. Mr. Sammy says a modification to the exchange rate is a hot topic amidst his friends. Frank, all rumors have a source of original truth. The conversations you are hearing around you may be classified as rumors, but they come from a fountain of knowledge. You and many of your colleagues have gone to CBI meetings, executive meetings, and you have seen what the CBI has been telling you concerning the monetary reform education, how it is explaining everything to you and the citizens. Emo, in a few days they're going to show you lower notes, because that will prepare you to receive your new exchange rate. The Presidency of the Republic approves the controversial laws. These are finally finished and done. Let's move forward now with financial reforms. They are telling us in many different articles they are now moving to the third and final part of their reforms. The third phase includes lifting the purchasing power of all Iraqis. Sadani has said they are going to restore the dinar to its former glory as the most valuable currency in the world. Integrity. Iraq advances by 3 points and 14 ranks in Transparency International's Corruption Perceptions Report. Quote, the Federal Integrity Commission announced Iraq's progress in the corruption perception. Ernst & Young, Oliver Wyman, K2, all these different entities. Assessing and auditing Iraq. They know where the money's going. No different than here in the United States. We're finding out where the money's been going, and they're probably doing the exact same thing in Iraq. They found out where the money has been going. I wouldn't be surprised if that's been going on for a lot of years, hence the Rafidane Bank situation. Why were all those dollars going to illicit corrupt items? The plan has been brilliant and it's working. World Gold Council. Iraq moves up in global gold reserves ranking. World Gold Council. Iraq has climbed one spot in the global ranking of countries with the largest gold reserves, reaching the 28th position out of 100 nations, according to the latest data from the World Gold Council, and now ranks fourth in the Arab world, following Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, and Algeria. Al-Sadani's advisor rebukes citizens for storing money at home and calls for investing it This is called dinar mattress. This has been an issue for a while. Why? Because the CBI wants the 30 notes back. Why? The citizens need the money to buy stuff in the streets. Yeah, but they don't want them to use the 30 notes anymore. Why? Because they're going to change the exchange rate. Why? To add purchasing power to the currency of Iraq. Question: what are the odds this will go into March now? Mark Z. Emo extremely low odds that it will stretch into March. There are some bond folks and groups that are very excited, and receiving the same information. Remember, we do not know the timing, we only share what we are seeing and hearing. Iraq and the Czech Republic issued a joint statement on Thursday after a meeting between Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani and his counterpart, Peter Fiala, as part of the former's official visit to the Czech Republic earlier today. Relations and cooperation. At the beginning of the statement received by Shafaq news agency, the two presidents praised the long history of friendship and fruitful and multifaceted cooperation between the two countries. Prime Minister Fiala expressed his appreciation for the recent achievements made by the Iraqi government on its path towards establishing lasting peace, stability and economic prosperity, including Iraq's pioneering and leading role in the war against terrorism. For his part, the Sudanese Prime Minister praised the Czech Republic's important contribution to international efforts within the international coalition to eliminate the terrorist entity ISIS, as well as its support for reconstruction and humanitarian development efforts in Iraq following the field defeat of ISIS. Security and counter-terrorism. In light of the ongoing transformation of the multilateral security partnership within the global coalition to defeat ISIS, the two sides stressed the importance of continuing cooperation against terrorism in this framework, both bilaterally and multilaterally within relevant international organizations. The Iraqi side also commended the important contribution made by the NATO mission in Iraq and the European Union Advisory Mission in Iraq, to which the Czech Republic contributes. Economic cooperation. Based on the Agreement on Economic Cooperation and Trade Promotion between the governments of the Republic of Iraq and the Czech Republic, the two sides affirmed their commitment to enhancing the role and effectiveness of the Joint Committee for Economic Cooperation between the two countries, which is jointly managed by the Iraqi Ministry of Industry and Minerals and the Czech Ministry of Industry and Trade, with the aim of providing recommendations for measures that would unlock new opportunities in the fields of trade, investment, energy and industrial cooperation, and seeking to achieve higher levels of trade and mutual investment between the two countries. The two sides expressed their willingness to continue efforts to create favorable conditions for businesses and investors to operate in each other's markets, through cooperation